Hello and welcome to Triple C Odyssey, where we explore the worlds of conservation, culinary arts, and culture. Join me today as we explore the aftermath of the 1977 trophy hunting ban in Kenya. In 1977, Kenya made the decision to place an indefinite ban on all hunting in the country in order to combat poaching and human encroachment, in their own words. They ordered that all hunting operators convert to photographic tourism, that no guns would be allowed to be imported into Kenya, and that all hunting licenses would cease to be offered. At the time, it was estimated that Kenya would lose 1.2 million US dollars each year from a loss of revenue from license and trophy fee sales. This amount today, adjusted for inflation, would now equate to around 6 million US dollars each year in lost revenue. A study done by the African Wildlife Foundation referenced a total estimated 40 million USD per year was lost in potential revenue from hunting tourism as a whole in Kenya from 1977 to 1996. While animal rights organizations applauded the decision, hunters warned that a ban on hunting would not help in controlling the poaching or encroachment and would exacerbate the problem instead. Their warnings went ignored, and Kenya followed through with the ban. A study done in 2016 by Kenyan researcher Joseph O. Ogutu monitored the population trends of various species since 1977 and found that megafaunal populations had declined dramatically while livestock populations increased exponentially in the same amount of time. All of the land that had originally been designated as hunting concessions were taken over by livestock herders and poachers, which influenced this large decline in Kenyan wildlife populations. It was found that on average, Kenya lost 68% of its large wildlife numbers since 1977. The results, which will be compared from 1977 to 2011 and 2011 to 2021, are as follows. 2021 results will be from the 2021 National Census of Wildlife in Kenya. Other studies related to different species in Kenya shed more light on the aftermath of the hunting ban of 1977. 2021 estimates continue to be sourced from the 2021 National Wildlife Census of Kenya, and I will refrain from talking until after the numbers have been displayed in order to allow the numbers to speak for themselves. Many proponents of the hunting ban have upheld the notion that photographic tourism has since replaced hunting in an effective manner. However, according to the Kenya Wildlife Policy of 2020, one of the biggest threats and challenges to wildlife is the lack of incentives for private and communal landowners to adopt land use practices that are compatible with wildlife conservation. Another important factor is that the wildlife user rights are spoken about in their own section in the policy. According to the policy, the government shall 1. Develop a framework to regulate access and sustainable utilization of wildlife and wildlife products. 2. Foster the use of scientific knowledge and the precautionary principle approach in wildlife utilization decision making. 3. Develop a framework for sharing benefits accrued from wildlife utilization. 4. Ensure that all wildlife user right holders have responsibilities to support wildlife conservation. And 5. Develop guidelines and standards for service provision and infrastructure development in and around wildlife conservation areas. If the Kenyan government were to choose to reinstate hunting tourism as a conservation tool, it would have the policy framework to properly regulate the practice. Within the same wildlife policy is the following quote: "Whereas protected areas have been set aside for purposes of wildlife conservation, a significant percentage of Kenya's wildlife inhabit communal and private lands that also serve as wildlife dispersal areas for the protected areas. At present, there are inadequate incentives to motivate communities and landowners to adopt land use practices that are compatible with wildlife conservation and management. The situation is aggravated by the existence of incentives in other sectoral policies that distort land use decisions." Even with all this information, I do not think that trophy hunting has to be reinstated in Kenya in order for the trends to be reversed. While I believe it would be a step in the right direction, it is ultimately up to the Kenyan people to decide what to do with their natural resources. The intent of this video is to open the discussion on wildlife conservation and the unintended consequences of hunting bans when not properly implemented. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving a like and subscribe. Respectful comments are always welcome, and I will see you all next time.